Alabama 1st and 10 on the 12. Again, Houston. He's got a hole. He's over. Alabama touchdown.
I'm just wondering if your listeners know how good a football player you were. I can still see you playing that fullback, knocking those players out of the way. And I believe I could have run behind you.
Martin, I can remember when we came to summer and you were playing fullback up there, and I saw you in the weight room and watched you work out in the weight room. If you could you were strong enough to pick up the whole weight room. I wanted to fix it, and our running back coach didn't take the pass. Biggest mistake we ever made.
The Martin Houston Show with national championship winning fullback Martin Houston, giving you 1 hour of intense, hard-hitting analysis from an insider's perspective. It's time for the Martin Houston Show on your home for Alabama sports, Tide 100.9, and streaming on the Tide 100.9 app.
Good morning. Welcome into the Martin Houston Show with Martin and Xavier. We're live, local, and ready to get things rolling right here on your home for Alabama Sports, Tide 100.9 and 12:30 a.m. WTBC. As we kick things off, I want to remind you that this is a day that the Lord has made, so let's rejoice and be glad in it. Take some time today to notice someone, love someone, serve someone, be the difference you want to see in the world today. Got a great show lined up for you, kind of around the Capstone edition of the show. Bama goes 10-0 this weekend around the Capstone, 10-0. So we'll talk about that. A couple highlights from those moments. So we'll work that into the conversation as well. A couple milestones happening. We'll also speak with Kennington Smith III. He'll join the conversation and talk with us about everything happening around the Capstone and what he has coming up. We'll talk men's basketball, women's softball. Well, there's only softball, Alabama softball. We'll talk athletics in general, Bama's new OC. We'll get that conversation from Kennington and see what he has to say there. And also, DeBoer honored with the Stallings Award. So lots and lots of conversations to get to. We invite you to get in on the conversation at 205-342-9904, 205-342-9904. That's the Alabama One hotline. And so you can get in on the conversation there. We also invite you to join the live stream on Facebook, YouTube, or Twitter. Still in the process of consolidating pages. So if you're out there listening on the radio dial and you want to be a part of what happens off the air with the Martin Houston Show, you need to follow Facebook at Martin Houston 35 fan page. That's where I do a lot more posting and interacting with our followers and listeners and viewers outside of just the radio show. Lots of different things happening there. So once again, that's at Martin Houston 35 fan page to stay connected with the program throughout the day as we move and throughout the weekend and all of those things. Hopefully we'll get to do a few more special programs moving forward on the radio airways as well as on that Facebook page. So invite you to join us there. Good morning, X. How you doing, sir?
Good morning. Doing well. How are you?
Doing well. Man, do you remember a weekend like this for Alabama sports? I mean, it was absolutely a crazy weekend if you're an Alabama sports fan from start to finish.
I can't say that I do remember a weekend like this. You know, this is something that I called for and hoped would happen on Saturday, this past weekend on Friday, and hey, it happened. 2 sweeps, and then of course two sweeps, and then big wins on the basketball court for both the men's and women's team. Alabama closing in on the men's team closing in on a SEC record with another 100-point game. Only Kentucky 94, 95 sits in front of them by a game or two of a 100-point game in the season. So, hey, Bama basketball doing big things down the stretch.
Ryan Fowler, who is on from 2 to 6 each day right here on Tide 100.9 and 12:30 a.m. WTBC, he posted a stat. I'm going to reshare it. This stat is crazy. Since Nate Oates has been in Tuscaloosa, okay? Since Nate Oates has been in Tuscaloosa, they have had 10 100-point SEC performances. Now I'm crediting Ryan because he posted it. I don't know where he got it from, if he tracks it. He's a great investigative reporter and all that stuff. Does great research. The rest of the SEC has 10 in that same time span against other SEC teams. So, I mean, scoring machine. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, what's his name has surpassed Brandon Miller with 20-point games, right?
I think he did pass him this week.
I think he did. So either way, he had his eighth consecutive 20-point game. That means that in the last 8 SEC games, the dude has went for 20 plus. I mean, the announcers this weekend said that he is the most complete guard in the draft. I mean, in college sports, and we're still, he still don't. I think he may. I guess that'd be a great question. I'm gonna have to throw that out there somewhere. Is Mark Sears, outside of Alabama, the most underrated player in college basketball? Think about that for a second. I mean, wow.
He didn't make any of the player of the year list, national player of the year list, none of that.
Can they supplement those? Can they go back and can they supplement those and go back and like add somebody to it that's not on the current list? I wonder, can they do that? If you're not on the finalist list, think about this. This guy is leading the SEC leading team. And it's a team that lost everybody. I mean, there's so many questions that I have, like positive questions around this team. Like, how good is Nate Oates? How good is his assistant coaches? And how good are these guys that are playing? I mean, you just watch them play, X, and it gets more and more exciting. And I'm gonna tell you, I'm reserved though, X. I'm reserved because last year I was hyped. I was hyped last year, and yeah. And I do want to say that I do think some of the off the field stuff last year hurt last year's team. I do think that hurt down the stretch, and I think it weighed on Brandon Miller, and I think that this team is. Am I sitting here saying that Mark Sears is better than Brandon Miller? No, I'm not. But is he playing better and more consistent than Brandon Miller played even last year?
Yeah. It's arguable. Worst case.
Yeah. And here's the question, Max. Is this team, would you take last year's team with all of those first rounders and all that, or this year's team?
Can I get rid of all the off the court stuff? I think last year's team without all the off court stuff probably could have been the best team in Alabama history.
I don't think they can score with this team.
Really?
Not consistently. And a one off you might. But I mean, that's just. I think the SEC is better this year than it was last year. Your thoughts? Is the SEC better this year?
It is arguable that it's close, man. I have to go back and really think about last year, how deep the SEC was, and the SEC is really good this year. I will say that it is without a doubt really good this year.
Justin, your thoughts, man?
I'm sorry, could you rephrase that
I was just
question?
saying, do you think this year's team, we take this year's team over last year's team, and is the SEC deeper this year than it was last year, basketball-wise?
I think you could say deeper. I mean, the parity is definitely there more this year than last year. I don't know, though, if I would give up Brandon Miller over this team.
But Brandon Miller is nullified by Mark Sears. Do you think last year's team would stop Mark Sears?
No, but I would take the size, I think, and the defense compared to Mark Sears scoring, because I think Brandon Miller could keep up at least with that sense of scoring.
Right. So now you got those guys. Now what about the other four? That's where the difference is. And not telling me Bediako was a rim protector, but can he protect the rim if he has to come out and cover Grant? So you remove that difference there by making him cover Grant Nelson. It's an interesting conversation. Put it like
it is.
Put it like this. I'm really glad that we can have this conversation, being that Alabama lost all of those guys, all of those dudes to the league, and we're still having a conversation about Alabama basketball. Alabama has 3 guys from last year and 1 coach from last year. And one of those guys barely plays this year. And they're still leading the SEC, which is as deep or deeper than last year. And thanks to Kentucky, one of Alabama's biggest victories was this past weekend because Kentucky beat Auburn and separated them even more. So anyway, coming back on the other side, we're going to add Kennington Smith to the conversation. I love the fact that we can even have this conversation legitimately. And I'm going to talk, is Nate Oates the runaway leader as coach of the year? And somebody on his staff have to get assistant coach of the year if they have such an award for basketball. Mark Sears should be up for SEC player of the year. In worst case, he's locked up most improved down the stretch. Does this team have to finish strong for all of these awards to hold up? How deep can they get? Oh, yeah. And we said we were going to go around the SEC. So coming back on the other side, we will change some of the conversation. I didn't want to get into it till we got Kennington on, but baseball, basketball, softball, men's and women's basketball, and Coach DeBoer getting honored with the Stallings Award. He has a mantra that I had not heard till I saw it this weekend. He said something, X, that sounds a lot like a former Alabama great coach. I tell you what that is on the other side.
Tide 100.9 traffic.
Tuscaloosa traffic now from the Townsend Nissan Traffic Center. We have picked up an accident that appears to involve road blockage. This is at the 15th Street interchange with southbound I-359, so look for the flashing lights there. Should be a bit more activity now as the morning goes along, so look for that. No big accidents or breakdowns, though, on the main lanes of 2059 from Foster's out to Cottondale. Mostly quiet drive there, at least for the time being. With your Tuscaloosa traffic now, I'm Ray Romero.
This report is sponsored by Tire Rack.
Townsend Nissan is your #1 dealer, and they'll beat any written offer or pay you $1,000. Keeping you #1 keeps Townsend Nissan #1. See dealer for details.
Nearly 3,000 teen drivers die in car crashes each year. Tire Rack Street Survival is designed to save lives. The one-day hands-on driving school gives teens experience in car control through exercises that include emergency braking and skid recovery. Find a class near you at TireRack.com/survive.
Hey y'all, I'm Steve Azar inviting you to escape to Pearl River Resort where the fun is going non-stop. Enjoy gaming excitement and catch the thrill of the big win. After the thrills, test your skills at the Dancing Rabbit Golf Club. There's dining delight and love at first sight. And it's always no work and all play at Silver Star and Golden Moon Casinos. So come on, leave it all behind and head to Pearl River Resort.
Dog parents are loving Dr. Marty's Nature's Blend Premium Dog Food.
The way she acts and the way she moves, it's just so much better. And she's like a puppy again. It's unbelievable.
Dr. Marty's Nature's Blend is a freeze-dried raw food made with 0 artificial preservatives, so it's naturally shelf-stable with no mess, freezer, or fridge required. Plus, it's full of premium turkey, beef, salmon, and meat your dog will love.
We started with Nature's Blend. She's happy, she sleeps well, she's energetic. I am just delighted with this product.
When given the choice, Nature's Blend and Amazon's #1 bestseller in dry dog food, 29 out of 30 dogs chose Nature's Blend first.
I'm so confident your dog will love it. Your order is backed with a 90-day guarantee.
Save up to 54% off Nature's Blend and get a free bag of delicious beef liver treats. Go to drmartypets.com/deal or text DEAL to 511-511. Text DEAL to 511-511. All pets are unique. Your pet's results can and will vary. Message and data rates may apply. Studies available upon request.
Tide 100.9 Tuscaloosa weather.
Sunshine in full supply today, the high at 59. Clear tonight, the low 31. The warming trend continues tomorrow and Wednesday. Lots of sunshine both days. The high tomorrow 63 for Wednesday. The high very close to 70. I'm James Spann on the ABC 3340 Weather Center on Tide 100.9. It's 26 degrees in Tuscaloosa.
The sound of Bama sports. Your show, your team. The Martin Houston Show on your home for Alabama sports. Tide 100.9 and streaming on the Tide 100.9 app.
Welcome back into the Martin Houston Show with Martin and Xavier. We're live, local, and ready to get things going. We got MaX Sports all fired up for you. Glad that you are a part of the program and want to invite you to get in on the conversation. We got Kennington Smith, the third, joining the conversation. Got a couple of callers on the line, so we're going to work them in to the conversation as well. Man, Jason Rutledge said that, Martin, you're drinking the Kool-Aid. Big gulp too, baby. But anyway, he said, first of all, let's bring Kennington in. I'm going to get Kennington to respond to this as well. Welcome in, Kennington. How you doing, man?
Good. How are y'all?
Man, I'm having fun. Alabama had a great weekend, 10-0. Around the Capstone. We'll get to those different sports in just a moment. But talking basketball, and I was talking about how good this team can be. I don't think this team is a finished product yet. And I think this team will do as much as last year's team, if not more. But Jason Rutledge told me, he said, you're drinking the Kool-Aid, Martin. I don't think this is a legit team outside of home court. Bama's recent standards. This is a decent team, capital, but I don't think they will have deep tournament run. What's a deep tournament run for Alabama basketball? Sweet 16? I mean, so, and of course, my response to Jason was actually this year, Kennington, that's the question about all of the SEC schools, right? Tennessee, away from home, plays totally different. Auburn, away from home, plays totally different. Kentucky, until this past weekend, away from home. I mean, you know, you look at the top teams, South Carolina away from home. All the top 4 teams are killer at home, but isn't that college basketball for the most part? Especially this year in SEC?
Yeah, I say so. And one thing about Alabama's team and what it takes to make a deep tournament run, once you get into
Hey, Kennington, don't you go there, man, because Alabama
Yeah,
got a whole abundance of it. They got a bunch of it. It's one thing that I know where you're going. Start with a G.
Yeah, it starts with a G. Guard play. Like that's what it's about. It's about guard play, and once you get into the tournament and games start to get tight, you need to be able to make a shot. You cannot smothering defense your entire way to a championship. Obviously, defense is a component, but at a certain point, you're going to have to make shots. And Alabama has elite guard play and a team full of elite shot makers. And also, let's not forget that they're the best free throw shooting team in the country. Again, that's something that is a huge component of tournament success. So I'm not here trying to champion Alabama as, a bona fide Final Four team, but they have the right ingredients to make a deep tournament run. And the last thing I'll say about this is it does seem like we're kind of moving the goalposts on what deems a successful Bama season. Let's not forget this is a team that lost 75% of its roster and every assistant coach on staff, yet they're in first place in the SEC. That feels like a little bit better than an okay team and an okay accomplishment, especially because the SEC is arguably even the best basketball league in the entire country. So, Alabama has its flaws, obviously, but this is a team that I feel like has the capabilities of, reaching a Sweet 16 again and potentially an Elite 8 and further, depending on the matchups and, how things shake out on that day.
One more question before we bring Alan in. Is this team getting better defensively?
Yes. I mean, the guard play defensively has gotten a little bit better. The front court is going to be, a little bit an adventure, I think, game to game. I think that's just going to be the situation. But they are getting, a little bit better. But I feel like, for the most part, they are going to be giving up, in between kind of like the mid-70s per game in scoring.
And I agree with that. Everybody plays on neutral courts in the playoffs. I mean, in the tournament. So I give Bama a puncher's chance because their guard play is elite on the offensive end and is getting better on the defensive end. I watched them against A&M turn A&M guards over. I mean, they had runouts. I mean, and I can't say enough. I know we said Griffin has stepped up, but whatever Coach Saban said to Reitzel a while back, whatever story he told, and then whatever he said to them Saturday, just bring the GOAT back. Take him on the road with you. Just have Nick Saban come on the road, talk to the team beforehand, and we'll go from there. So yeah. Mm-hmm. Good stuff. All right, Alan, thanks for being in on the Martin Houston Show with Martin and Xavier with Kennington Smith III. What's on your mind, sir?
Good morning. Good morning. First of all, the turnovers are cut in half because we don't have Quinlan no more. That's where all the turnovers were last year. But
Alan, hold on. We also have a guard who is going to get fouled on all of those drives that Quinterly threw the ball away or didn't finish. Mark Sears finishes and either makes it or gets fouled or both.
And he makes free throws.
Yes.
Okay. Now saying that, I still say we run into a team in the tournament. Alabama's a big team. They're going to push us around, and we'll be out of it. I just say we just don't have the big men. We're soft. I still say we're soft when it comes to being a big man. I think we're a big man short of actually being a legit Final Four team. If we got a big man that wants to go in down there and beat up people like Draymond Green does, like a Dennis Rodman type, we'll be fine. But I just don't think we got the muscle down there in the bottom. Some of our big men lack footwork. I mean, I wasn't a big man. I was a guard, but it was there. I don't understand the footwork on some of these guys. Everybody wants to shoot threes. You 7 foot tall, and you want to shoot a 3. We need somebody rebounding, somebody protect the rim, and we don't have that. We just simply don't have that.
Well, shoot, Alan, if that's the case, you got several guys that are in that 6'6" to 6'8" range that could be those type of guys. But because the example you gave were Dennis Rodman and Draymond Green, we don't have our Grant Nelson is our 6'11" guy, Jaren Stevenson, those guys, Nick Pringle that are 6'10". Are they bangers like that?
Well, what I mean is, what I'm looking for is somebody that's going to get down there and it's somebody that's going to be tough. Somebody that's going to give them the hard foul. And we just don't have that.
I think we do. I just think he's been off all year. And Kennington, you can come in on this. Is Nick Pringle the guy that Allen's talking about? And have we seen a little bit of that the last couple of games? Did Nate Oates finally get his attention?
Yeah, I mean, it's going to have to fall on Pringle's shoulder. And Alabama's had a little bit of bad luck at that kind of, big man spot. Charles Bediako's unexpected departure to the league, and then they bring in Mohamed Wagee, but he's been hurt. He's barely been able to play long minutes. So not having him as a depth piece has really hurt the team. But it does fall on Pringle's shoulders to be that consistent second big man. And if we're looking for somebody, like Xavier mentioned, in kind of like that 6'6", 6'8" range, that could be that banger, that tough player. I've been calling for Mohamed Diabate to play more minutes for several weeks now. It seems like whenever he's on the court, good things happen. Good rebounder, high effort player, finisher on offense, versatile, strong defender. So if you're looking for somebody to provide that toughness, maybe you could find it out of him. I like how he's been playing of late.
And just, Alan, I'll let you respond and let you go. But, Alan, just FYI, Nate Oates is trying to turn him into that Draymond. He actually has been showing him film of Draymond and saying, you can be this guy. I think Pringle has to be the banger that you're talking about, and Diabate has to be that other piece. Both of them have to learn how to do it without getting cheap fouls. That's both of their biggest problem. They both don't get enough minutes to get into the flow, into the groove, and maybe they can do that. I heard someone say Purdue wins the championship unless they get an official who calls the game correctly. Let that sink in.
I agree with that.
I mean,
I totally agree with that.
I heard a national guy say
agree with that.
Yeah,
I totally agree. I totally agree with that. And if we get to Pringle like you're talking about, another guy doing that, Bama is a legit team. But like you said, no team wins it on defense unless you go back to when Arkansas won it. It's 40 minutes of hell, and they pressed the whole game. Now they had 5 guys come out, 5 guys to win, and you talking about press the whole game.
Full court whole game.
So you got to be in too much shape.
Full court whole game. Thanks, Alan.
Full court whole game.
That's right. Have a good one. All right, hey Pat, you're in with Martin, Xavier, and Kennington on the Alabama One Hotline. What you got for us?
Fantastic basketball game over the weekend, but I think Allen has hit the nail on the head. Nate Oates' nutrition program is crap. That these boys all should be 20 pounds, 25 pounds or more muscle on them. I just don't understand why these skinny youngins won't drink protein shakes. They don't live at my house.
Hold on, Pat.
That's all I know.
Hold on. Which Nate Oates brought in that you're describing that stayed here more than the 3 months of the off season? Bediako got bigger and stronger. He's just not gonna be a big body. He got bigger and stronger. Who else are you referring to?
Bediako was 250, 260.
Who else are you referring to?
I'm telling you that that my 6'11" guy ought to be at least 25 pounds more muscle on him. If he had 25 pounds more muscle, he would be
when you
making.
do that.
He would,
Pat, when you do that, you change their game, and then you would be complaining about him not being effective as a player because that's not his style.
Well, here's the thing. Grant Nelson, Kennington, you respond to this. Grant Nelson can put on weight. Grant Nelson just got to the program. Stevenson is a 17-year-old kid that should be playing high school ball. He will get bigger. Diabate is a first time. I mean, in the one guy that you talked about that has some size has been injured. So I get what you're saying, Pat, but I don't know that we've had a guy stay here long enough, other than Bediako, that was a skinny guy coming in that did not progress. Kennington, your thoughts real quick on that.
Yeah, and I mean, Jaron Stevenson, late summer addition, Diabate and Wagi were both injured in the summer and the fall, missed a lot of time. Grant Nelson, late summer addition as well. So on top of the fact that they had Bediako leave unexpectedly, the guys that they brought in all were pretty late additions into the program, so they didn't have full off season. Some of them weren't healthy, so it's been a bit of an unfortunate, I guess, circumstance, but that's just the kind of team that Alabama has this year. So they know what their strengths are. They know what they have to do in order to win games. I think the question is how a lot of these guys take that second year leap, because again, these are all freshmen, young players in the program that are that are having to play really big roles due to the circumstance. So I feel like this is a topic that we'd have to table until next year to see how a lot of these guys progress and kind of what it looks like if they could take a second year leap in the program with the full off.
Agree. Pat, let you close out.
Martin, one quick question before I leave. My question is, why could we not have matched the small change that Bediako is making now and kept him in a program?
I don't think it was about Alabama matching. I think Bediako saw an opportunity to jump when his type of player wasn't as many of his type of players in the league. I mean, going out into the draft, I think maybe this year there may be more big men. I don't know that for sure, Pat. But I think, Kennington, you may have a better answer. But I think Bediako surprised everybody, but I think he got advice that, hey, you need to look at next year and this year and, make the leap and play G League and get better because you'll get a chance. So what are your thoughts, Kennington? Thanks, Pat.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. I'm not really sure the particulars around Bediako's situation. That was right when I joined the Alabama beat. But one thing I'll say about that, and I know somebody mentioned Quinterly early, and Amari Burnett also transferred away from Alabama. These were players that were supposed to fill major roles, and at least two of them kind of transferred unexpectedly. Yet Alabama was able to reload, and they're sitting at first place in the SEC. And Quinterly's on Memphis, and they're probably not going to the tournament. And Burnett's on Michigan, and they're not going to the tournament. Bediako's trying to find his way into the NBA, and Bama's just reloaded, and they're still a first place team in the SEC. So the team is not perfect. Obviously, they have their flaws, but at the end of the day, this is a team that could win a third straight SEC championship, and I feel like that is the story that should be highlighted here: is what was lost, what the expectations were, and what the team is actually doing with a handful of games to go in the regular season.
Absolutely. And coming back on the other side, I'll ask you a couple questions around this basketball staff and team and awards, and then we'll do a jaunt around the Capstone. Great weekend for Bama sports. If you're a Bama fan, we'll talk about it. Big week for Bama basketball coming up as well. All of those conversations when we come back from halftime.
Now is the time to make sure your boat is serviced for spring fishing with the help of PTG Outdoors, your authorized Mercury sales and service center in Northport. PTG Outdoors does service for all outboards and repair for Yamaha, Mercury, and Suzuki motors. They sell canvas bass boats, Minn Kota trolling motors, Humminbird, Garmin, and Lowrance electronics, as well as fishing tackle rods and reels. Financing is available with approved credit. PTG Outdoors, open Monday through Friday, 8 till 5 in the old L&L Marine location in Northport. Call 333-1605.
Don't miss your chance to win at Birmingham Racecourse Casino. Open 24/7, so come on in for non-stop gaming action. You'll find the latest, hottest, most exciting games around, and you'll love the fun bonuses and big jackpots. Plus, you can watch and wager on horse and greyhound races from all over the world. Your best bet for big wins is just minutes away at Birmingham Racecourse Casino, where you can be a winner too. Birmingham Racecourse Casino off I-459, exit 31 Derby Parkway. Must be 21 or older.
Hey, Jen, I just stopped in to say hello. Oh my gosh, look how busy it is in here. How did you get all these customers?
Yeah, this month has been a record breaker for us. For a long time, we had decent business coming in from word of mouth, but we weren't really growing. Lately, though, a lot of new folks have been finding us online, and that's made all the difference.
That's terrific. I wish I could figure out how to do that for my shop, but I have no idea where to start.
Just do what I did. It's not as hard as you think. Go to mylocalcustomers.com to see exactly how many searches there are here for businesses like yours.
Okay, then what?
If you see that there are a good number of clients searching in our area, you'll also get some suggestions for the best way to get their attention.
Do you think there are a lot of people searching for my business?
There's only one way to find out. Go to mylocalcustomers.com. It's quick, easy, and free.
Go to mylocalcustomers.com for a free local customer analysis that will show you how many Tuscaloosa customers are searching online for your type of business. It's quick, easy, and free. Visit mylocalcustomers.com. That's mylocalcustomers.com.
Dog parents are loving Dr. Marty's Nature's Blend Premium Dog Food.
The way she acts and the way she moves, it's just so much better. And she's like a puppy again. It's unbelievable.
Dr. Marty's Nature's Blend is a freeze-dried raw food made with 0 artificial preservatives, so it's naturally shelf-stable with no mess, freezer, or fridge required. Plus, it's full of premium turkey, beef, salmon, and meat your dog will love.
We started with Nature's Blend. She's happy, she sleeps well, she's energetic. I am just delighted with this product.
When given the choice, Nature's Blend and Amazon's #1 bestseller in dry dog food, 29 out of 30 dogs chose Nature's Blend first.
I'm so confident your dog will love it. Your order is backed with a 90-day guarantee.
Save up to 54% off Nature's Blend and get a free bag of delicious beef liver treats. Go to drmartypets.com/deal or text DEAL to 511-511. Text DEAL to 511-511. All pets are unique. Your pet's results can and will vary. Message and data rates may apply. Studies available upon request.
This report is sponsored by Unbound.org.
Interact with the Martin Houston Show by calling us at 205-342-9904 or tuning into the Martin Houston Show on Facebook.
Welcome back into the Martin Houston Show with Martin and Xavier. We got Kennington Smith III on the conversation. Just not enough time to get it all in, but we'll do our best. Billy's Cooking Restaurant helps us do it each and every day. Go check them out for lunch and dinner. Open Wednesday through Sunday at 11 a.m. They have great options, specials on Wednesday, Friday, and Sunday. Wing Wednesday, Fish Friday, and Soul Food Sunday. Stop by and tell them that Martin Houston told you to stop by. That's Billy's Cooking LLC on Facebook. Also, help us grow our network. Follow Martin Houston 35 fan page on Facebook to stay connected with all the post-game show that happens outside of just a radio broadcast. We're going to be featuring the Crooms coming. The Croom, I call them the first family of Alabama sports, but definitely a trailblazer with their uncle. Nice little sidebar. Erwin Dudley is also he married into the Croom family, and his wife Tamara Croom was also a UA cheerleader. I mean, this family runs deep into the Alabama legacy, and we're going to highlight them as we wrap up.
I went to school with a couple of them.
We're trailblazers for Alabama, black trailblazers for Alabama athletics. So we'll talk about it. I also got the Sylvester Croom Commitment to Excellence Award. I mentioned that last week. So love that family, and what a great blessing they've been, Kennington, to Alabama sports. So as we keep the conversation going, Kennington, there's so many different things going on. Before we jump around the SEC, around the Capstone, circle back on this basketball program, man. Does this season need to end with a regular season SEC championship and a deep run, or has Nate Oates done enough to be the SEC Coach of the Year, and maybe even some national awards, or does he have to make a deep run to lock up that award?
Yeah, I think it's I look at what what Lamont Paris is doing at South Carolina, and I feel like he has Coach of the Year on lock just because they were picked last in the SEC, and they're in the mix for a championship. So I feel like if you're looking at expectations to results, he's probably the Coach of the Year. But I think Nate Oates is right there. And I would, take it a step further. If Alabama is able to win the SEC this year, there needs to be a legitimate conversation about Nate Oates as the best coach in the SEC and one of the best ones in the country. So I don't know if Alabama necessarily needs to win the SEC or make a deep run to validate this season, but I do think that this is a team that is perfectly capable of doing so. So there has to be, some type of standard for this team to perform, down the stretch, finish out the SEC slate strong, and at least make it to the Sweet 16 this year, as that's kind of been, the standard, since Oates has kind of taken over.
I mean, and you have to look at the assistant coaches as well, and see what they're going. We're going to ask DC the same question tomorrow, but Kenton, is Mark Sears right now trending to be the most disrespected player in college basketball?
Yeah, definitely. It was really shocking. That was a week or two ago, where he wasn't named to any of the, the Bob Cousy list and the different National Point Guard of the Year awards, and we're talking about All-American conversations. It's pretty shocking that the leading scorer in the SEC on a first place team, on a team that's won the conference last 2 years, that's been number one last year, is not getting the type of maybe press run nationally that he deserves. So he is, underrated, you could say disrespected, but I think, this as well. If you keep winning and you keep playing at a high level, that recognition is going to come eventually. So Marcus may be overlooked right now. Maybe he and the program prefer it that way, but I don't think it's going to last very long if Alabama continues.
And I'd asked a question earlier, even though he's not on the list right now, can he be reinstated? I think they did that last year with someone. I can't remember who, but someone was left off and then was restated. So I'm not sure when it comes to that if they can or can't. But Kennington, any other thoughts you have about Alabama and this week's schedule, from the fact that they got Florida coming in and then to Kentucky? Because Jason Rutledge said if they beat Kentucky, he's buying the Kool-Aid mix. If they win the SEC, he'll purchase the sugar. So he has a high standard before he buys into the team. What are your thoughts about Alabama in this week? Do they need to split or win both, in your opinion?
Yeah, I think a split would be nice. I mean, Florida, let's not overlook them. They are scorching right now. I mean, they've won 8 of 9, 9 of 10, something like that. They're red hot. That game's going to be really fun on Wednesday. Two teams that are going to get up and down the floor. At Kentucky, a Rupp Arena is going to be a tough one. I think if they can get a split, then they'll be in good position. It's important to remember that Bama's also had really good luck these last few weekends with them winning and certain teams being able to lose. So if they can get a split, hopefully continue to have some good luck. I think it all kind of is trending towards Tennessee coming to Tuscaloosa on that March 2nd day, and I think that game might end up determining the SEC
Yeah, we
champion.
think South Carolina, and we also think the Kentucky Wildcats, two of our biggest victories of the year. not wins, but victories of the year. So no doubt there. Before we get to break, Kennington, and wrap things up in the fourth quarter, is when you look at it, everybody talks about how tough it is to play at Auburn. In the last Alabama's 27-1 in the last two seasons, 27-1. Auburn's 27-3. So, but no one talks about that. Could you imagine if Alabama, I'm not worried about the size, if Alabama's home crowd had the same impact, which I don't think it does, and I'm not being ugly to Alabama fans, what could it? I don't know. Well, I don't guess you could win many more games. I guess if you only lost one in SEC play. But anyway, I think Alabama has a unique home court advantage in the way they play and shoot in their style. So, any thoughts on that as we get to break?
Yeah, I guess it kind of comes back to a pretty hot button topic in athletics right now is the answer building the new stadium or building the new arena? Is that something that's going to get fans to come out? Like you said, it's an exciting run of basketball. This is one of the best teams in the country. I'm not really sure what else the program can do to get more fans to come out and kind of be that raucous home court environment, which it has been this year. And it's also worth noting that Auburn's gym is built a lot differently than Alabama's gym. So maybe the answer is finally pushing through that new stadium and really kind of showing the commitment to the basketball program and energizing the fan base.
You know what Bruce Pearl did at Tennessee? He put black curtains up around the top and pushed all the fans down. So he just cut off at Tennessee. He cut off the top part of the stadium. The Coliseum. So the arena. So that was an interesting move that he did back then to kind of push the fans closer. Of course, Alabama is so far from the court itself too. So that's the other side. Hey, but coming back on the other side, we'll talk about a couple other sports around the Capstone with Kennington Smith, the third of the Athletic at Kenny _ on the X.
Tide 100.9 traffic.
Tuscaloosa traffic now from the Townsend Nissan Traffic Center. Most of our attention this morning is on the I-359 15th Street interchange in Tuscaloosa. This is a crash that's popped up on the southbound side of the interstate right at that exit ramp. Right now, the left and the right side of the ramp are being blocked as authorities try to get this clear. Not much of a backup there, but it is a clear inconvenience. Again, southbound I-359 at 15th Street. No other big problems on the board. With your Tuscaloosa traffic now, I'm Ray Romero.
Here's what's trending on the Tuscaloosa thread.
Good President's Day morning. Tuscaloosa County High and County school officials are promising disciplinary actions for a racist prom proposal posted on social media by an apparent Tuscaloosa County High School student. The post referenced cotton picking and African Americans. County School Superintendent Dr. Kerry Johnson is asking parents and students with concerns to contact her office. Johnson says the school system takes student safety seriously. Click TuscaloosaThread.com for more local news throughout the day. Don Hartley, Town Square Media, Tuscaloosa.
Right now, there are young people across the world facing a tough choice. Continue their dream of education or drop out to help their family put food on the table. You can help change their future in a single moment. See how far your support can go at unbound.org.
A healthy weight, more energy, and smooth, regular bowel movements. 3 things everyone strives for.
It's me, Chuck Norris. There's one really important thing we don't talk about enough: our health. Achy joints, digestive issues, weight gain, and fatigue. We're told these are normal signs of aging. So working with a team of health experts, we came up with Morning Kick.
Morning Kick is a revolutionary formula combining 10 different supplements in one. Probiotics that help you lose weight, prebiotics for digestion, superfoods for muscles and joints, and several of the most powerful powerful anti-aging supplements on Earth. It'll help you feel youthful, energized, focused, and help manage stress.
Anybody can achieve great health regardless of their age.
Go to roundhouseprovisions.com. Use code SUPPORT or text SUPPORT to 511-511 and claim 40% off today.
Every purchase comes with our 90-day money-back guarantee.
Text SUPPORT to 511-511. Morning Kick. These statements have not been evaluated by the FDA. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease. Tax fees may apply.
I'm attorney Stephen Mizrano. Did you know that insurance companies will only offer you pennies on the dollar for your injury? When you're in a wreck, you need an attorney who knows the law and will fight for you. I don't back down from the insurance companies. You need to hire a proven attorney who will win. My firm will fight to make sure you get the compensation you deserve. Call 800-8000 or visit mezwins.com. I've got this.
No representations made that the quality of legal services to be performed is greater than the quality of legal services performed by other lawyers.
Healthy meal options fast. Clean Eats is now open downtown with a full-service lunch and dinner cafe, coffee and smoothie bar, healthy meal prep, and grab and goes. Clean Eats on University across from the federal courthouse. CleanEATZ.com.
Keep it locked into Tide 100.9 for more of the Martin Houston Show with Martin Houston and X's and O's Sports Xavier Houston.
Welcome back into the Martin Houston Show with Martin and Xavier with Kennington Smith III. We're live, local, and got things rolling. Encourage you to stay tuned each and every day, Monday through Friday from 6 a.m. to 7 a.m. And then follow at Martin Houston 35 fan page to get the post-game conversations. YouTube subscribers, hey, we'd love to have you be a part of the Facebook fam as well. So thanks for tuning in that way as well. As we wrap things up, got a little rapid fire edition of the program. We'll hit Kennington with some questions and get his responses really quick. Kennington, as we look at the Capstone, 10-0 this weekend, 5-0 by softball, sweep, 3-0 by baseball, sweep, and basketball, of course, taking big time win, 100-75 over A&M. 100 points against Buzz. His team is unbelievable. And then even the ladies, women's basketball, Christy Curry, I think she has like a 10 out of 11, some crazy record against Auburn, and they got the big win. And Sarah Ashley Barker hitting 1,000 points in her career. So just the Capstone in general, what Burns is putting together as an AD.
This has been a great weekend, honestly. Just shows that the strength of Alabama's athletics program, and all of these teams that you mentioned. It's not like these are programs that just kind of had a good off weekend, like a good weekend, and these are not viable teams. Like the women's basketball team is in a good place, 20 wins going to the tournament. Softball, baseball teams with high expectations that did good things last year. We've been talking extensively about the men's team as well. So you got to give Greg Byrne his credit for building, not only, kind of maintaining and helping football along with, with Saban being here, but you look at all the programs across the board in the spring sports as well and the winter sports that are doing really well. It's a really good time to be an Alabama fan right now.
Absolutely. So when you look at what Alabama was able to do on the Capstone, and baseball got off to the great start and all that, but big time award past weekend for Coach DeBoer. I'd like to get your thoughts on him being named the Stallings award winner for what he did on the field as well as his community service.
Yeah, Kalen DeBoer is somebody who I think is being a little underrated, a little disrespected as far as, who he is as a coach and kind of where he stands in the national pantheon of coaches. But I think Alabama did really well bringing him into the fold. He has to finish out his coaching staff as spring practice is coming up. But, he's somebody who I think is, a hire that Greg Byrne made, and he wants it to be kind of like a Saban-esque hire. And what I mean by that is just the longevity of how long he's going to be with the program. So to win an award like that, I think is, very fitting. I think it kind of speaks to the type of person that Byrne wants to lead the program into the future. And, I think we're all really excited to see what he does this fall.
Bama named their new OC since the last time you were on. What do you think of the Nick Sheridan hire as he has a couple more moves to make?
Yeah, I think it's interesting. I think one thing that people need to understand about this is that, Ryan Grubb is a loss, obviously, and I'm not trying to downplay it, but at the end of the day, this is Kalen DeBoer's offense. It's kind of like when Bama was changing defensive coordinators under Nick Saban, it was, this is the Saban defense. It's DeBoer's offense. So having Sheridan there, somebody who's familiar with the system, I think will help. I think the biggest question looming is who's going to, what's going to happen with the play calling. Is it going to be Sheridan exclusively? Is it going to be kind of a joint effort? But ultimately, it's going to be DeBoer kind of running the show offensively. So, the offensive coordinator isn't of maybe as much consequence as people are making it out to be. But I think that offensive line hire is critical. And that's what I'm looking at to see who he brings into the fold.
And with that said, is the offensive line coach and what they do with Shepard, not discounting the tight end move or whatever he does it, are those the two biggest moves potentially of the of this staff at this point?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, you look at what Washington was able to do last year. Obviously it started with Penix. DeBoer is going to be there, but after that, it was the receiving play. Shepard's a huge part of that, and then the Joe Moore winning offensive line, and that was a big problem for Alabama last year. Really, really young offensive line going into spring practice this year. We'll see if they add any more depth and experience in the portal in the spring window, but those are the two critical positions on offense receiver and offensive line play. And it'll be interesting to see how DeBoer manages.
Tell us what you got coming up at Skinny Kenny _ on the X.
Yeah, a whole lot of basketball. This week we're going to do some football things as well. So just really exciting time to be covering Bama, regardless of the sport, and hope you come in and see what we got going on at the Athletic.
That's at Skinny Kenny _ He joins us every Monday from 6:15 to 7 o'clock. Thanks, Kennington. We'll catch up with you next week.
For sure.
All right. Hey, we'll pick up the conversation right where we left off on tomorrow. We'll add DC Capstone report to the conversation. Hey, we'll have him go around the Capstone, get his thoughts on Bama sports. We'll also talk Bama versus Florida and Kentucky in basketball. We'll talk about Nate Oates, this basketball team. And I want to leave you with this. Congratulations to Coach DeBoer on winning the Stallings Award. But he made a statement that connected me and him to even Coach Bryant. He says, this has been his mantra wherever he's been. Winners win because that's what winners do. Will that come as iconic as the Bear Bryant statement? Ain't nothing but a winner. That's all I've ever been. I mean, can he match that? Can he live up to that on the Capstone? As Coach Bryant let us know, he never been nothing but a winner. That's what DeBoer says about himself. We'll see. We'll talk about it. I'm Martin Houston. That's Xavier Houston. That's Justin Jones or JJ. And we're live local every day. And we want to invite you to join us back on tomorrow. Remember this, trust in the Lord always, lean not your own understanding. In all your ways acknowledge him, and he will direct your paths. Roll Tide out there, everybody.
A dedication.
Thank you for listening to the Martin Houston Show on your home for Alabama sports.